a statement that was issued tonight from the Salt Lake City Council. I'll just read it. It was posted on social media. It says, "Our hearts are with the Rose Park community following this evening's tragic shooting. Salt Lake Police Department is actively investigating and will share updates as information becomes available. We encourage residents to follow official sources for accurate and timely information." And yes, the Salt Lake Police Department has said that they will issue an update. We were expecting that about a half hour ago. Here is a shot from Chopper 5. Now, this is the back of the church. A minute ago, we were seeing officers with flashlights looking around, I presume just investigating the scene. In front, you can see the line of police cars. And this has gone on for a couple of hours now, and it spans. It goes from 650 north and it spans several blocks on about Redwood Road. So this is an area of Rose Park, of the Salt Lake area. This was, of course, a funeral, as we've reported, that was taking place. There you can see the officers down on the scene with flashlights. And the investigation continues. Here are some of the things that we are hoping police will answer for us. One of the things we wanted to know is there a suspect, multiple suspects? Do they know who they're looking for? Those were some of the things that they said. They were working with people. They were getting a lot of tips. And so that would help them know who they were looking for. They were also looking into whether this was gang related. They did not indicate that there was a risk to the public at this point, that it was a targeted incident. And in fact, neighbors heard a fight going on in the back of the parking lot. So it's really just a tragic night, a sad night for members of this community who were mourning the loss of a loved one. And to have more loved ones, again, we're told 2 people died, 3 critically injured, 8 shot outside of this funeral service at a Latter-day Saint meeting house. Our news coverage is coming up here. We are going to transition into that newscast and hopefully have an update for you. But you've heard from the witnesses in that area. We've heard once from police.
This is crazy, folks. Now, the police are probably going to give a press conference soon, hopefully. I think they got another feed up. We're going to monitor this situation here. Looks like, yeah, I got something else I'm going to put up here. Another feed from another network. This would be KUTV coming up. KUTV. Looks like they're breaking off. So we're going to go KUTV, and we're going to see what's happening here and what they have to say. Crazy stuff.
I honestly did not expect this, but this risk has...
All right, Brian, we are waiting for the police to start speaking. Again, we've been waiting for them. We know there's a lot to get in line before sometimes they can share information. It's an evolving and changing scene. Let's go to them right now.
I think we have it.
Women who don't check a man's phone.
Peter, you got that? Peter? Do you have me?
Any of you going live?
We'll probably all be live.
Okay, so the mayor's going to make a statement as well.
Afterwards, go.
We're going to do with all these.
Peter, can you talk to me, please?
Looks like the mayor's also going to speak.
Okay, first it is the chief, and then the mayor is going to speak as well. Chief and mayor, correct.
Salmon and egg scramble is my latest favorite high-protein breakfast. Just flake up some cooked fresh salmon. It's great for using leftovers from dinner. Or you can use canned salmon. Add it to a skillet, sauteed onion, then add some dill, and cook it until it is all warmed through.
As you can see, they're still getting the microphones on from multimedia outlets out there. If you're not familiar with them, this is Chief Red, the new Salt Lake City Police Chief is out there. We're also seeing Mayor Mendenhall, which shows you the gravity of the situation tonight.
Yeah, we're waiting for them to give us some new information. We understand there could be some new information.
In this incident, their families impacted by this incident tonight. We just want to continue to provide updates. We'll probably provide one more update after this. Keep you. Can't tell you right now. Additionally, from what you already have, is that all of the victims in this incident are of adult age, and So we know there were some questions there. The shooters are not in custody. We are following all leads. Our officers are working hard, and we will work until we bring these individuals to justice. We do have dozens of individuals that were attending the funeral that we are talking with right now to see if they saw anything. So we're working through that upon all leads. And again, we are confident we'll bring these individuals to justice.
Chief, did this happen inside the folks who were attending, or did someone come into the situation and insert themselves and open fire?
That is still being investigated, but it happened. The gunfire happened.
Chief, you said shooters. Is that confirmed? It's multiple.
That is not confirmed. We'll look into it.
What do you know about as far as last we heard was there was a car you were looking for that went north on Redwood Road? Is that correct?
Yes.
And have you heard anything further?
We're continuing to investigate that. We're pulling video surveillance from the surrounding area to see if we can identify information there. We are getting a lot of leads coming in from the public, and again, we're confident that we will.
We've got license plate readers here on Redwood and on Separate.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll be looking into all of those things. Yes.
Has the number of victims changed?
Handcuffs up the street. Can you tell us how that relates?
So through this process, we have detained individuals. I don't know the current status.
How many individuals have you detained?
I don't have that number.
Have the number of victims changed?
Not since I think what Glenn gave us is where we're at right now.
Chief, we were gang investigators here. Do you think this is gang connected somehow?
It's probably too early to say it's gang related.
How big is the scene? We got pushed back a little bit. I know we got shot right there, showing some things, but how big of a scene are we looking at here as far as the shell casings and all?
Yeah, I mean, most of the scene occurred just behind the church there, so that the immediate scene, and then of course we've got some area cordoned off. But the extent of what we've looked at it from the initial shooting is right behind the church.
You talked about this otherwise, please.
What the public do to help you at this point?
So we would ask the public to call our non-emergency line if they have any information, 799-3000. Of course, if there's an emergency, then call 911.
Can you tell us anything more about the nature of the altercation that we heard about that occurred before?
I don't have that information right now, but that that will come out as the investigation progresses.
You ID'd the vehicle?
I don't believe that we've ID'd the vehicle.
Any suspect descriptions?
No, we're looking into that right now with the video surveillance. As soon as we get a video surveillance,
Was the video inside the church?
I don't know that.
So video from
We're looking at these surrounding businesses. Yeah, see anything up this way as well.
It happened at a church. Do you think religion played a part in this at all?
We don't believe this was a targeted attack against against a religion or anything like that. We don't believe at this point that this was random.
How large is the search radius of suspects? Is it just controlled here, or are you guys searching?
We're going to follow. We're going to search wherever we find leads across this valley.
Again, for the people around, other people, you don't believe other people are in danger as a result of this?
Well, we can't say that. We just had some people shot, but we don't believe that it was. We don't believe. Let's see, how am I saying? We believe this was not a random.
Is there any danger to the public with the suspects still at large?
Again, we don't. Again, I'm going to just say it again. We don't believe this was random. So we believe that but we can't say. We have people that have shot people that are out in our community, and we're going to keep looking for them until we find them.
But it appears as though whoever opened fire and the folks inside somehow knew one another. These weren't complete strangers. They were at or near the church.
That's what we're investigating.
I'll make brief remarks. Absolutely condolences to the families and the victims. This should never have happened. This should never have happened outside a place of worship. It should not have happened at a celebration of life that was occurring inside of the church tonight. Our condolences continue to grow, and we know that this impacts not only those victims and their families, the community that was at the church, but the entire community here in Salt Lake City and on the west side. I also know that Salt Lake City Police Department, and great thanks also to our fire department, who have been great partners in collaborating in this incident, are not going to rest until the individuals responsible are brought to justice.
full stop. No matter where they go, we will find them. They will be brought to justice. So we will give you another update before the night ends, and we'll have another moment in the morning to bring any new information or simply tell you that what we know is still what we know. So those are the updates that we have for tonight. And I think we answered your questions. If there's any more, we don't have any greater information to share with you at this time.
Mayor, real quickly, what do your staff talk about after something like this? I mean, moving forward, I know you can't prevent, but you got to look at things like this probably and have a discussion and think, okay, is there anything we can do? How do we move forward?
You know, while this investigation is still evolving and unfolding, we really can't analyze what was the motivation, how could this have been prevented, except to know that our police department, our fire department respond extremely quickly. Victims who were on site were taken to hospital immediately, and I'm really proud of our police department, our fire department, and grateful for the other agencies for assisting. Until we know more about this and the investigation gives us more information, we can't start to make assumptions about what happened here or why it happened.
What I can tell you, our officers will not rest until we bring justice, and we will be here for the community. And in the days to come, we will be here in the area, connecting with the community, working with them, doing what we can to make people feel safe. And I want to thank our officers. I also want to thank the fire department and all of the assisting agencies. And thank you to all of them.
Thanks, everybody.
That has been an update from Salt Lake City Mayor Aaron Mendenhall and Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Redd. They conveyed their condolences and assured people that they are searching and working hard to find whoever tonight shot and killed 2 people, shot 8 people total, and injured 6 others, 3 of them critically. You heard that they do not know exactly or where they're looking, but that they are working hard to find them. And these are shots from Chopper 5. All night we've been showing you this area of downtown Salt Lake City, Rose Park to be exact, in Redwood Road and about 650 North, where police have blocked off this long stretch of street where these people were killed in back of a meeting house during a funeral. It's been a night of a lot of work for police, a lot of concern, and a lot of emotions, understandably, for people who were there mourning the loss of their loved one and now have maybe other people that they know or other family members who they have lost in this tragic shooting. There you're looking at the stretch of road that is lined with police cars. It's been a massive police presence all night. Our crews have talked to witnesses. We've talked to, you just heard from the police department and from the mayor saying that they won't rest until they bring others to justice. And right now they are working on using surveillance cameras and what we're told is even license plate readers to try to identify that truck. Mike Hedrick there is at the scene. Mike, you just heard the update. What stood out from you, or what were we able to learn in some of these questions that we've had going forward?
You know, like they said, it's really early on the investigation. And I think right now they are just getting every piece of information that they can at this point. They talked about witnesses, talking to several witnesses. Do we know if it's one shooter or multiple shooters? They weren't willing to say, or they don't know at this point. You mentioned some of the surveillance video that they're looking at. Usually you don't have that typically in buildings for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, at least the meeting houses. So you got a Maverick here in the corner, you got Mountain America there, you got a McDonald's right over my shoulder as well. So these are places that may have surveillance video and cameras. So what they're doing right now, they're going through that, they're going to look at it, and they're going to see what they can determine at that point. But again, as they mentioned, beginning stages right now, and we'll see where things go. But whoever the shooter or shooters are, they're actively searching for them right now, and they're going off of whatever tips they have at this point. They weren't really specific as far as what those were, because I believe some of that is still coming in, again, as they're debriefing some of the witnesses on scene as well. So they did say, if I heard correctly, was they did have a couple of people who they've spoken to possibly in custody, maybe just for informational purposes or possibly related. So again, when it's this new and this fresh, they're sorting through everything right now, Deanie.
or Mike, that they were working hard to make sure that they covered all of their bases and made that clear. Let's go now to news specialist Garna Mejia. Garna, you have spent the night talking to witnesses, both people who were inside the funeral and people who were close by, residents just in that area. What has stood with you and stayed with you tonight?
Well, indeed, and we continue to monitor the situation here at the meeting house. I am back in the back of the meeting house. This parking lot is where the shooting unfolded, and hearing that report that there are, now confirmed 2 people killed, at least 6 more injured, with at least 3 people in critical condition. Witnesses telling us that they heard a barrage of shots, what they thought at first were maybe fireworks, and then they started realizing that those were not fireworks, those were gunshots. They heard a car quickly speed away, and some even describe hearing bullets ricocheting off of cars, off of metal, potentially even the meeting house. We've seen officers here shine their flashlights, looking what I assume are for bullet casings, for signs of bullet holes. And you have, this whole area just outside as you walk into the back of the meeting house is taped off. There is that securing that scene. Chopper 5 giving us this bird's eye view of what this scene continues to look like as police start combing through the evidence, start looking for any details, anything that can point them and help them solidify their leads and searching for this suspect. Family members telling me that they are devastated. They did not want to go on camera. They are devastated to hear that at least one of their brothers, they described, has been shot. And you guys, let me toss to some of the people that we have spoken to this evening.
Shots were fired outside of the meeting house, but you can definitely hear them inside. It was pretty loud, especially when inside all you can hear is just quietness, and then with those loud shots, definitely kind of shook the whole place up.
We just heard maybe 4.
Lillian, she was there paying her respects to the member of this community. She told me that all of this happened outside. She heard screams, did not recall hearing gunshots per se, and then people started to kind of mill about and move about inside, and there was this level, of course, of being uncomfortable inside of the chapel, but nothing moved in to the chapel. Everything, as we understood, taking place outside. Now, police at this point apprehensive to share if there was gang involvement there. There are definitely some preliminary reports out there that are leaning towards the side of that, which is why the reason for multiple people leaving in various vehicles from the chapel. But again, as we get a lot more of that confirmed information here with multiple victims, 2 deceased, we will be sure to bring it to you here. But for now, we're live on Redwood Road in Salt Lake City with our breaking news. I'm Brian Schnee.
All right, that's Brian Schnee, live for us. We also have Brian Will on the scene.
That's right. We want to go out to him live, where he has also been paying attention to what's happening there and talking to people. What are you seeing there, Brian?
Yeah, Mark and Heidi, we've been out here for the last couple hours, and to kind of set the scene and show you where we're at, this crime scene tape went up while we were here. Brian Schnee is actually reporting from over on that side, and you have a good view of the side of this church. And then where that scene is in that back parking lot is right back there. And that's where a lot of police were coming from. A lot of investigators were here on scene. We're on the backside of a McDonald's, and you can see they actually have some cameras up there on the roof. So this is when police are canvassing the area. They will look at these cameras. They will go to different businesses, try to see if they had an angle of this shooting. After speaking to several people here, we're hearing possibly gang-related, possibly a drive-by. You've heard the latest information in that press conference. Now, I did speak to someone who was just coming home from work when he heard the gunshots ring out.
When I pulled up to my house, I got out of my car and I heard just in the distance. I was just like, maybe it's fireworks, but you never know. It's real sparks, so it's kind of hit or miss.
Drive-by at a church. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he came out after installed his heavy police presence here and has just been waiting here, helping any way he can. He does know people that go to this church, and you can see family are actually gathered back here as police are still out here investigating. This scene has been very morbid. People are still reeling, just a community in shock after this shooting. Mark and Heidi, will send it back into you.
All right, Brian, thank you. We had an interview a little earlier this evening where one of the people who was leaving that viewing and service tonight said the person who died was Ossie Sakona. They were all there for him tonight. Looked up some of the viewing information, and that seems to check out as to who was there. Obviously, we don't know exactly how this all happened, but it does sound like the shooting happened from outside the viewing where people inside heard those screams after the gunshots happened.
We're going to get to Annika Johns in just a second. We did get a short statement from the church tonight.
That's right. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has sent us that statement. We'll read that in just a minute, but let's go to Annika right now.
Yeah, hello, good evening. We're just outside at the University of Utah Hospital right now. We're working on putting in several calls, whether or not to confirm where exactly the victims of this shooting are currently receiving treatment. We've put in calls to the University of Utah Hospital, Primary Children's, and the LDS Hospital as well. Now, we made these phone calls prior to that briefing, which again, we just heard from the Salt Lake City Police Chief. So we do know that all of the victims in this are adults. And now we've spoken to Intermountain Hospital, who says that they are working on gathering some more information for us at this point, but there is no official confirmation whether or not any of the 6 remaining victims are currently being treated or what exactly the severity of their injuries may be. Again, we just did hear in that quick briefing that 3 are in critical condition, but as for the other 3, their current condition is unknown. But it currently is unknown at this point, but of course we're continuing to track the latest in this, and as soon as we receive an update from officials regarding where exactly these victims are receiving treatment, we'll bring that to you here on air and of course online. Now I'll send things over to Jamie.
Annika, thank you. And of course, this happening outside of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a chapel tonight. We have a new statement from the church reacting to the shooting. And here's what the church is saying, quote, "We are aware of a serious incident that occurred outside a church meeting house at 660 North Redwood Road in Salt Lake City tonight as memorial service was being held in the chapel. The church is cooperating with law enforcement. It is grateful for the efforts of first responders. Until more information is available, all questions about this incident are being directed to the Salt Lake City Police Department. We extend prayers for all who have been impacted by this tragedy and express deep concern that any sacred space intended for worship should be subjected to violence of any kind." End quote. Now, we also spoke to Chris Bertram earlier this evening. He has extensive experience in law enforcement, now private investigator. He shared his thoughts on this shooting happening outside of the church.
Every angle, we are at this Maverick. It's one of the bigger, nicer Mavericks. We're assuming they have cameras in this area, and we will just continue to gather information as well from this angle. I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, Debbie, thank you very much. I appreciate the perspective over there. And like you mentioned, Chief of Police and the mayor visibly disturbed by what had happened here this evening. And so it's all hands on deck as they're trying to figure out exactly who or what people have done this. All right, we know that this took place in a building for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And the church, probably about 30 minutes ago, just put out a statement. Let me show that to you. Let me read that to you here. It said, "We are aware of a serious incident that occurred outside a church meeting house at 660 North Redwood Road in Salt Lake City tonight as a memorial service was being held in the chapel. The church is cooperating with law enforcement and is grateful for the efforts of first responders. Until more information is available, all questions about this incident are being directed to the Salt Lake City Police Department. We want to extend prayers for all who have been impacted by this tragedy and express deep concern that any sacred space intended for worship should be subjected to violence of any kind." And I mentioned this before. I'm going to mention it again, Deanie. When you hear that last part of the statement there by the church, your mind goes immediately to what happened in Michigan not too long ago with the tragedy that happened there, with the shooting that happened there. And so it just kind of rings that, okay, here's something, again, happening in a place of worship. It should never happen there. In fact, the mayor reiterated that this evening. So again, all hands on deck. You got all police crews here looking for any kind of tips, any kind of information, whether it's from surveillance cameras, whether it's from cameras on cars, whatever it is, they're trying to hunt down and figure out who in the world would do something like this.
Yes, it's such a senseless tragedy at the worst time and in the worst place. Mike, we'll check back with you before the end of the newscast. Thanks for wrapping it up and for getting us such great information. Let's go to our other top story and gratefully a little bit of a happier.
All right, they're kind of shifting away. Let me go back to the last feed here.
That this should never have happened. I believe we have some words from her that we can play right now.
This is crazy. So it looks like it appears there could be some armed suspects out on the loose. Maybe two.
Brief remarks. Absolutely.
All right, we kind of listened to her, so I'm just going to kind of talk in the meantime till they're done. The other feed kind of went away. They're shifting the weather. So the authorities here also said they'd be giving a press conference again before the night is over and or come back tomorrow. This is probably going to turn into a situation like the birthday party where suspects got away and they're going to be pleading with the public tomorrow to get the information, or maybe they'll have the suspect in custody at this point. I don't know, but this is insanity. So the way the people are saying it is, you had a funeral going on at this church. You had some sort of something that happened out in the parking lot. Witnesses are describing multiple gunshots as if there was some sort of maybe like drive-by shooting at a church. Gosh, that's crazy. A drive-by shooting at a church. What does this world come to? People are saying 10 p.m. funeral. That's a great point. What's going on with a funeral on a Wednesday night? Around 10 p.m. or whatever. Well, it's 10:30 their time. So let's just say 7 or 8 o'clock. Well, I mean, I guess, people will, work and then they have a funeral at the end of the day. But whose funeral was it? Whose funeral? What was the funeral about? How did this person die? Is it gang related? Somebody died? Hearing a fight broke out. Is it rival gangs? Is it somebody, a gang member died and they had a funeral at the church and then the rival gangs went up there to retaliate or something like that? Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. For sure. I'm gonna wait for she's done talking because she's already given this. They had microphone problems on this one here. 674. In Salt Lake City. Let me go listen in.
Until these people are brought to justice is one that we also heard the chief of police echo. They both sent their condolences out to the community. And again, we are told that we're going to be hearing more information and getting another update this evening and again tomorrow morning. So we will continue to be here on scene and bring you that information when we know it. But Mark and Heidi, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Natalie, thank you very much. The families affected, that's going to be tough tonight.
Yeah, a lot of families. And as you see, there's still large police presence out there. This is a multi-jurisdiction event. That means that we've got probably all along the Wasatch Front jurisdictions helping out in this. I was actually dropping my kids off at the airport when I saw a bunch of police headed towards the scene when this happened. I got home, realized how serious this was and came in. And when I was driving in an hour later, I could see from the south end of the valley, more police headed north, probably helping in the search for the suspects. So this is something that's going to be going on all night long until they have answers, and police saying that they expect to update us at some point again this evening, hopefully having progress and maybe tracking down suspect or suspects.
Yeah, if we get any suspect information during this 10 o'clock newscast, we'll try to bring that to you. But right now, it's a big weather night, too.
Absolutely. Possibly snow moving in. We want to talk to Chase right now, who's...
Weather night. Let me go to this feed right here. It appears this is the outside area here on Redwood. So definitely the less police presence here in this area than when we started off the feed. When we started off the feed, it was crazy full of people. This is their cameras in the Salt Lake City area. But yeah, we have a lot of questions. Let me just do a look here on Salt Lake City shooting. See what pops up. 2 dead, 8 people shot at a shooting at Salt Lake City church funeral. That's coming from the Salt Lake City Tribune. Let's see if they put any information. All 8 people who were shot were adults. No suspects in custody as of 10 p.m. their time. They're looking at surveillance from nearby businesses and license plate readers on Redwood Road and 700 North. Everything is closed within the vicinity of the area. All right, the two wards that meet at the church are Tungan. According to the Meeting House website, Susie Fetch Matolo, CEO of one of the Utah's largest Pacific Islander organizations, Pacific Island Knowledge 2 Action Resources, said her phone has been flooded with messages about the shooting. She knows several individuals that have been shot. So Tungan Church or Tungan. Many members of the church are Pacific Islanders. Church of Latter-day Saints communities in the area were attending a memorial service. So Tungan. What's going on here? And we had a couple comments earlier from J Looms 3482. Put that back up. Polynesian gangs up there. You have the Polynesian gangs up there. You have the Tongan Crip. You have the Tongan Crip gang. You have the Samoans In Action Gang. You have the Samoans In Action Sons of Samoa and Salt Lake Posse. So, centered around gangs here, it looks like. That's the set. Well, the media article was saying the Tongans, so it looks like that might be the people involved in this situation. What's this right here? We'll go back here to the scene here, and they're still up. We're not done yet. We're not done. Maybe they give another press conference. Maybe they don't.
Would happen at what should be a very sacred moment with a funeral. What we're hearing from witnesses, those inside the meeting house, those next door, was that multiple shots rang out in the back parking lot area. That's where we see the majority of police activity at this time. What I can show you here is the front of this meeting house where people continue to trickle out. There's a couple here walking out, just two mourners that were allowed to leave the meeting house. And this is the pattern that we have seen throughout this evening as police are able to release those that were inside sheltering in place as they processed this deadly shooting in the back parking lot area. Let's listen to what some people told us.
Some of this might be repeat.
We just heard maybe 4 or 5 gunshots, and we just stopped and looked at each other and we're like, that doesn't sound like fireworks. That doesn't sound like any construction. Like, that's concerning. Pulled up the camera, and then about 3 more got off. Shots got off, and then he opened the door and heard crying, screaming, wailing, and he's like, something's going on over at that church over there. We need to go look. And when we got over, it was just a lot of people crying. There was maybe 3 or 4 cops just along this road here.
Yeah, and what we're seeing at this hour is we're starting to see investigators taking their pictures, starting to process the scene. We're starting to see them bring in a lot of the activity. A lot of the police tape is starting to really focus in around the meeting house. For hours, we've seen just this really large police presence, and we're starting to see them move in. I've seen a couple of vehicles trickle into some of the apartment buildings, so I don't know if they're slowly starting to release this area as they focus their investigation here at Ground Zero where the shooting happened. From family members, we're hearing that they are concerned. They're wanting to track down those family members that may be in critical condition, wanting an update on those that have confirmed been killed, and wanting to know where to go, where to gather. Just north of me, just on the other side of this fence, and I would show you guys there, but we want to just respect this scene. We are not able to cross to that side, but just north of here, those that are trickling out of the meeting house from the funeral, those people are gathering, many of them, in another parking lot just next to this meeting house. And we believe that that's where they're waiting. Some of them have cars in the back of the parking area here that, it can't take them. That is now part of an active crime scene where we believe multiple shots were fired. Deanie, Mike?
Okay, Gert, I appreciate the insight there and the people you're able to talk to. You're in a good spot as far as understanding really what took place and what people saw. So thank you for sharing that and painting a picture for us. You know, we got to talk to Salt Lake City Police and the mayor as well tonight, visibly disturbed as they spoke this evening, talking about the investigation, what they're searching for right now, and where things stand. Let's take a listen to the mayor and the police chief.
We are following all leads.
We listened to this already. Hold on, let me just see. I'm just gonna mute it down, see what else we get out of this, because pretty much we listened to him already. This is a new police chief, by the way. He's only been on the force. Let's see, how long has he been on the force? Not long at all. He's the new police chief, so he got his hands full. Imagine you being a new police chief and you're already dealing with a major crisis right when you when was he sworn in? Well, he's been there for less than a year. Brian Redd was appointed and sworn in as the 47th police chief of Salt Lake City, effective March 5th, 2025. So he's been there for about less than a year. So less than a year, and he's already dealing with a major crisis. This is the mayor of Salt Lake City. Mayor Aaron Mendenhall. Is that what we got? Yep. The current mayor of Salt Lake City is Mayor Mendenhall.
Is the question I asked earlier was, well, should the community be concerned? Could this just be some random shooter out there? They don't believe that's the case. They believe it's a targeted shooter and or shooters going after whatever the argument was, whatever led up to it. And so as far as the safety of people, they said, well, be aware because there's still someone out there who shot and killed people. So the community needs to be aware of that. But as far as going after anyone randomly, they don't believe that would be the case. Police presence here, Deanie, is still really, really big, and it will be throughout the rest of the night. It's going to be another media conference here, probably within the next couple of hours. We'll be here for that and give you the latest information. With that, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Mike, Garna, Debbie, and Chopper 5, we appreciate your efforts out there tonight, and thank you for the information on a tough story to report. Of course, the city has promised to bring us more updates in the morning, and we will bring you the latest. Stay with KSL beginning at 4:30.
All right, they're kind of winding down with this story. I'll put myself back up here. They're kind of winding down. Let's just see if we can do any preliminary or any final looks here. It's crazy out there, folks. It's crazy out there. You know what's going on out there. Now you got shootings at funerals. Unbelievable. That's all I really see. We're looking at 12:30 a.m. They probably all want to go home. Probably just like all of us want to go back to sleep. I was ready to go to sleep. This popped up and I'm like, yo, what is happening? What is happening? It's wow. Has it been a busy day? We start out in Greenland, covering craziness in Greenland, and now and then we went to Minneapolis and did all day Minneapolis, and now we're here in Salt Lake City. We get around here on the channel for sure. Our thoughts and prayers are all the victims here. I'll keep staying with this story. Probably come back tomorrow and find out more about you know, if they identify, you know, hopefully they get the people that are responsible. I'm sure the license plate readers and everything like that, surveillance will nail these people. You know, and maybe they get pulled over tonight or go to their homeboy's home and somebody snitches on them and they, you know, they zero in. Authorities have that kind of technology where they do license plate readers and they do surveillance and they can kind of like track a vehicle and its direction and everything like that. I don't think you're going to get away with it anymore anywhere. Hold on. Oh, they're done. So that means we're done too. All right, folks, we're going to leave it at that. Y'all be blessed. Shootings at churches, unbelievable, right? Crazy stuff. Gangs, churches should be off limits, right? Children, it's just wild stuff, man. It's crazy. All right. When more comes out, you'll hear it here on JLR Investigates. Thanks for watching, folks. Be safe out there. Love your loved ones. We'll talk soon. Have a good night.